gentlemen, I really want to thank you for making Global Health one of the top shows. And we have received so much messages from Tanzania to Senegal, from South Africa to especially Nigeria and Ghana. They wanted Ufuk Batum. So Ufuk Batum is with us. I'm so excited to have him with us. And we are very excited to get into more details and be able to actually convince him to do at least 2 more episodes with us. So this is our 2nd episode with him. Especially in this episode, Ufuk Batum will talk about investment areas and new opportunities in Turkey, in industry as well as economy that can be actually a good role model for the global world as well as our brothers and sisters in Africa. Without any further ado, I'm jumping in right into the questions. Welcome again to our show, dear Ufuk.
Good to see you, Yavuz.
Thank you.
By the way, you know to motivate people.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's you. They were so impressed, and I'm so excited with all the messages we received. So happy to have you in this show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Especially foreign direct investment has become one of the top issues for any company around the globe. Everybody is focusing on the FDI. And when we look at the trends of the foreign direct investment, especially in Turkey over the years, what do you see? What's your take on that, Ufuk?
Well, that's an interesting question because the FDI is critical, as you said, for any country all around the world. Why? Because FDI brings hard capital for the land, for the factory, for construction, for the people, and not only capital, but also it comes as human capital.
Indeed.
That is expertise, that is know-how, that is management. Yeah. So over the years, we have celebrated in 2023 our 100th year of the Republic.
Yes.
So let's talk about this 100 years because it's very sharp.
Yes.
The first 80 years, the 8 decades of the Republic, we could only secure around 16 to 17 billion dollars.
It's very low.
That's worth of FDI. That's very low.
Very low. Yeah.
80 years. So, and the remaining 20 years, you would expect 1/4.
Yeah.
$5 billion as for the 20 years. But it's about $240 billion.
This is mind-blowing. What happened?
What happened is the question. Because I think we've been sweeping everything under the carpet.
That's true.
Over the years of those decades.
I see.
We had problems. Our economy was like a cycle, ups and downs, ups and downs. When there's a down, the decision makers, the economists, the government, the corporate world, we would all wait because anyway it's going to be up in due course, in 6 months, 1 year. We wouldn't do, structural change.
I see.
But remember the 2001 crisis.
That was a
massive crisis. And then there was no way to go other than to learn from that experience. And when I look at the public sector, the corporate world, the universities, and the civil society, and finally the people by themselves, like 5 components, they all have done their reforms.
That's true. They actually transformed themselves, maybe.
The country has been transformed.
Exactly.
The political arena also has been transformed.
That's true.
New leadership, new spirit. So Turkey learned to do its homework.
I see.
That you have been sweeping under the carpet over the years. There's no way you can go. By doing that, and remember, in the same year of our crisis, there was the Twin Towers in New York, the terror attack.
Yes.
And then capital was surprised. As the capital was somehow looking for other destinations to invest in, we were coming up.
Ready for the opportunity.
Yes, to grab the opportunity, rising up. So in a way that coincides, but again, understand your society, understand the complexities, and start solving some of them. You cannot solve them all.
Yes.
But then FDI is looking for potential, and Turkey by itself and in the neighboring region has a huge potential.
Absolutely. Tell me about the neighboring region and other countries. You know, compared to Turkey, what happened, you know, in this context? What did other countries do in this story that you told us, which is striking actually?
Yeah, well, remember the 2008 and 9 crisis
Yes.
that, you know, Greece is technically bankrupt.
They were, yes.
Italy, Spain, the south of Europe suffered a lot.
They
They are still somehow suffering. I mean, remember the pandemic era that economies are now talking about recession. It's been 3 years, almost 4 years. But Turkey, 2020, the first quarter of the pandemic, we had minus 10%, the economy. But then suddenly we've taken action, again being agile.
Yes.
So we've been growing. It was only China and Turkey that year and the following year with very positive growth rates.
Amazing.
So I think everything is relative. And you have to be comparing countries, as you asked in your question.
I'm curious about indicators you're looking at, you know, because I think indicators are very important. Compared to each countries and the sectors and the field and the businesses, you know, I know you can tell me more about also the high growth opportunity sectors and the profitable ones in Turkey for investors who are watching.
Let's talk about few
Sure.
industries, sectors,
Of course.
but a couple of numbers. Those 20 years that I
Yes.
was talking
I'm very curious.
about,
Yes.
our export overall as a country, Turkey, has jumped in dollar terms 10 times.
Wow.
I mean, again,
Export. Yeah.
20 years,
20 years.
in dollar terms, 10 times export. How about the amount of resource you invest in your R&D? Again, you know, crisis, you know, and learning from crisis and making correct decisions.
And
then
investing
20
in
years,
innovation. Yeah.
you've been spending as Turkey in dollar terms, I'm rounding up for our audience to remember,
Yes.
100 times in dollar terms you increased your R&D budget.
I see.
Now, is there a way that you will not have the you know, return on that?
You have to have it.
You've been, I mean, R&D, research and development and innovation is investing in people. Simple. You invest in people, and Yavuz, you're in the ecosystem.
You are, yes.
Every day I see you,
Yes.
you meet smart people, you talk to them, you help them, you support them.
Yes.
You're a potential business angel. So we have seen that
Yes.
20 years of investment, and then the first 10 years was tough. While we were suffering, like, aren't we collecting any apples from the trees? But the last 10 years, especially the last 3-4 years, there was up, up, up. Now is the right time for more investment coming from global venture
I
capitals
see.
for various industries. Which industries? Let's maybe focus on
Yes.
definitely agrotech. Agriculture,
Food security, everything has
food
to-
security, water security,
Even what's happening now in
logistics.
California, right?
Yes, yes,
The majority of the food coming in United States now being lost.
lost. So again, from packaging to logistics, agro in the center as an anchor industry, and then food processing, machinery, know-how, consultancy, logistics, delivery,
I see.
very critical. And with technology, I think it's faster and it's much better now.
For sure.
Another very critical industry is the education.
Yes.
Because again, 20 years, from 60 plus universities, now up to 208 universities we have in Turkey. Why? We want to train people, we want to educate people.
And not
So-
just Turkish. We have
Exactly.
600,000 Africans who are now becoming leaders. They are going back to Africa and actually taking what they learned from
These are
from-
bridges. They're going to
For
invest in Turkey. They're going to pull investment from Turkey to their countries. There will be trade, there will be tourism, there will be services, there will be healthcare.
That's true.
So it's amazing what's happening.
It's like bees collecting honeys and spreading also the
Exactly.
seeds,
And you and me, I
pollens.
mean, we've been abroad as well. We've been
Yes.
trained abroad as well.
Yes.
And now we're back and we're traveling.
Cross-pollinating, I call it.
Exactly. So another industry is definitely the health tech.
Okay.
So
So you said agro, you said
education,
and health.
health. I can count you more, but
These
think
are the
these
major
are
ones.
very major areas where I see high
see.
potential collaboration
Amazing.
between Turkey and Africa.
So how prepared are the Turkish and African companies, especially the SMEs which you're focusing on, engaging in the foreign investors? Are they ready? And what should they do to be ready to do the pitching, to really be investable as a company?
So that's a tough question, but needs to be answered. So companies are ready or not? To be honest, most of them are probably not ready. They have the potential. There are few very good, reasonable, well-prepared companies. They can pitch their ideas, pitch their products, but it comes down to talent of the 21st century, we call it. Like you have to promote, you have to market, you have to be on the road, and you have to be traveling, you have to have the basic budget for sales and marketing. That is a little bit lacking.
Indeed, it is.
And I'm not talking about institutionalization as like a bank, but you need to be in order.
It is true.
Your
decks have to be in order to make sure when somebody
Yes.
do due diligence.
Because the investment or the investors, when they come, they need to have access to data,
Of course.
reliable data, and then it has to be tested, it has to be in order. For that, do the basics, not like, buy big services
Yes.
and then have this, uniform on top of you, but that doesn't fit you. You're not a
That's
bank.
a huge problem.
You're not a corporation.
Yes.
So be institutional, be accountable, have your data,
I see.
and keep the basics running.
Very good, very good. This is amazing, and that flexibility gives more opportunity to the investor as well as the SME, I believe, right?
Yes.
And when you look at the position of the Turkish startup ecosystem for investors, do you feel we have more opportunity to work on it, or do you think we are in a good state?
Currently, we're in a good state.
Okay.
But as we discussed, that didn't happen overnight. It
did
took
not.
us years. But
Indeed.
there is also the byproducts. There is also the spin-off.
Yes.
I mean, when you look at the defense industry, all those sub-technologies are not related to defense only.
That's true.
They are dual use, or
Yeah, you have to have a good camera.
Exactly.
If you don't have a good camera.
And software development
Yes.
and artificial intelligence, other tools are now into the picture.
Yes. And hardware eventually. But
hardware.
if you don't have one of them, like
Yes,
it's not.
I mean, defense requires the hardware,
Yes.
but as an entrepreneur, so my piece of advice to my African counterparts,
Yes.
entrepreneurs, dealing with hardware is a tough issue.
It is.
So first do rather lean business models,
Yes.
up and running, make some money, and then gradually you might go into that area of hardware. But
Very good.
scratch day one, going into, it doesn't matter if it's healthcare or
Sure,
others,
any of it.
very tough.
It is.
Especially that lots of certification,
Yes.
lots of, approvals,
Regulatory barriers,
yes.
many barriers, yes, yes. So finally, for this episode, what kind of homework, if you want to assign, to different stakeholders to improve the process, what will be the homeworks you will give, Ufuk?
So the very basic essential homework is understand the need.
I see.
What is the problem? What is the problem you're solving? And how unique are you in that way of solving the problem?
I see.
This is the very basic homework I like to lay out.
Focus on the problem and
Focus
find
on the problem.
unique ways of solving.
And don't worry so much about the product itself.
I see.
The product will come, and don't look for the perfect product. There's no, I mean, never a perfect product.
Amazing.
It will be a version 1, version 2, whatever. Versioning is, that's why we have versioning,
Exactly.
right?
And
So
those versioning is also bringing you money as well. right?
Exactly. So have a workable
I see.
solution on that well understood problem, and then get it moving, and always keep your, ears open for your customers.
Amazing.
Feedback.
Focus on customers.
Customers.
Well, Ufuk, this was really, really an eye-opener for all our viewers, as well as myself. Thank you so much. It has been an amazing discussion in such a short period of time. You laid out, FDI and all the things that needs to be done for Turkey and for Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yavuz.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our show, and look forward to hosting Ufuk Batum in one of our next show as well. Take care and all the best. Bye.